This is Buddy Buchanan at the Leader in Times bringing you today's news, Wednesday, July 26, 2017. This week, the Federal Aviation Administration announced $16.2 million in grants to airport improvements in Kansas, and Liberal was not among them. The Kansas Department of Transportation also issued grants this week, and Liberal was also not on that list of recipients. In a January 30, 2017 letter from FAA Central Regional Airports Division Director Jim A. Johnson to Liberal City Attorney Shirley McQueen, and also forwarded to Airport Manager Debbie Giske, City Manager Mark Hall, and Mayor Joe DeNoyer, the city was notified that the funds that have yet to be received in the Airport Land Use Fund from the sale of the softball fields to Walmart may result in non-compliance and puts future airport improvement program funding at the airport in jeopardy. The letter was obtained by the Leader in Times through a Freedom of Information request made with the FAA. The FAA provides AIP funds in two ways. One is generated by traffic counts that are classified as entitlement funds, and additional funding beyond those are known as discretionary funds. Both could be withheld from Liberal's airport while the city refuses to place the funds from the sale of the softball fields into the proper fund, which has now lasted for more than 2 years. Most of the grants awarded were higher than the remaining $453,000 the FAA is requiring the City of Liberal return to the Airport Land Use Fund. Without AIP funds, the City of Liberal would have to fund airport upgrades and repairs through other sources, including local taxpayers. The City of Liberal sold the softball fields for $850,000 with the intent of using the money to build new softball fields. The initial discussion for this sale took place in an illegal executive session, May 27, 2014. City commissions are explicitly banned from discussing the sale of property in executive session. But the softball fields were part of the land given to the City of Liberal by the federal government after World War II, and an agreement prohibits any funds generated by the sale of those lands to be used for anything except to support the airport. Later, the city transferred $397,000 back to the Airport Land Use Fund after conducting an appraisal to determine fair market value. The FAA memo also stated, in addition to fair market value for the property, if the property sells for more than the appraised value, all sales proceeds are treated as airport revenue and must comply with the revenue use restrictions. Of the $16.2 million in grants announced this week by the FAA, Colby received the lowest amount, a $209,155 grant to extend their runway, and Topeka received the highest, an $8 million grant to rehabilitate a runway. Grants were given to airports in Hayes, Colby, Lawrence, Ness City, Salina, and 3 different airports in Topeka. Projects range from runway improvements to fencing that prevents wildlife from entering the airport property, and one grant allowed an airport to conduct a system plan study. Nationwide, the FAA provided $169 million in AIP grants, and Kansas received 10% of those funds. Liberal may not receive any AIP funds until the city transfers $453,000 back to the Airport Land Use Fund as required by law, and Liberal committed to follow when accepting previous federal grants. This is Buddy Buchanan at the Leader in Times. God bless, and thanks for watching.